Welcome to the Ulrich 27 Honest Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing the 2015 GSXR 1000. This is actually my motorcycle, so I'm going to try my best not to be biased, and we'll see how that goes. Anyways, in this review, or should I say the reviews to come, I have a specially laid out area where I'll be doing the testing. This involves a comfort test, handling, speed, and other sorts of things you might run into on the street. Let's get this test started. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about the bike a little bit. It's the GSXR 1000 2015. And being a 1000 bike, you can expect it on the street to be a little uncomfortable, but compared to some of its competitors, I'd have to say the GSXR falls under more comfort, less aggressive. The riding position on this makes you feel a little bit more embedded into the bike itself, versus some of the other ones that I've sat on feels like you're sitting a little bit higher up on them. But this one I feel a little bit deeper in, and it has adjustable foot pegs in 3 different spots that you can adjust them. So if you're taller, you can lower them a little bit, or shorter, you can raise them. And then they have a more aggressive one where they put them back a little bit, which puts you into more of a aggressive lean angle. This road we're on here is pretty rough, but it seems like the shocks on this thing absorb these bumps pretty well. I can't say great, this is far from a touring bike. You would definitely start to feel some rider fatigue. That's generally speaking for any 1000 or even 600 bike. They're built more for the speed, not so much the rider comfort. But I do have to say, Suzuki does a pretty good job of making you feel right at home on their motorcycles. I've always been a bit of a Suzuki fangirl. I think they've always made great bikes. But this isn't about Suzuki, this is about their GSXR. For being a 2015, I'd have to say the dash actually is a little outdated. As sad as that is to say, the new model comes with an LED with all the digital inputs and all that garbage. This one still has, you know, your standard tachometer. Features aren't great. As far as rider features, you can buy this bike with the ABS model. It costs a little bit more. I think it's $14,999, whereas the base model is $13,999. I'll correct myself up here if that's not right. But for the price, I mean, you're buying what you're getting. You're kind of on the low end of the leader bikes. I mean, so this year models, you'd be competing against the ZX10, the R1, the Honda CBR. This falls right under there with the CBR. It's not super high tech, but it is an extremely competitive motorcycle for its lack of driver aids. You do get 3 modes, which are found over here on little triggers. You get your A, B, and C mode, which just adjusts the power delivery. If you're a newer rider, you probably want to start on C mode and work your way up. C mode makes it closer to a 600 in power, and then B mode gives you a more linear curve where it puts all your power up high. And of course A mode is romp your ass to the back of the seat mode. Alright, let's see how this baby handles. Obviously power delivery on this is extremely snappy. I mean, you're buying top of the line motorcycles. What can you expect? Ooh, this is gravelly. I mean, it leans, baby, but you need to know what you're doing on it. It's a little bit heavier to get through the corners than a 600. You gotta pull it down with you a little bit. Get off the side of the bike. If you panic and try to correct yourself by sitting up, you're gonna crash. That is definitely no good. As far as speed is concerned, it's estimated, or I should say claimed, to be 186 horsepower, which is a little bit lower than, say, the R1 or the ZX10. But I've never had an issue with keeping up with them, but I also have a mod on here, the Power Commander, which gives you a little bit more mid-range bite. I haven't really noticed anything up tall with the mid-range for the Power Commander, you can definitely feel it. Alright, let's get her some real speed going. We're talking top of the line motorcycle here. It'll go up to 165 without even breaking a sweat. So you gotta be careful. If you're in the wrong gear at the wrong time and you get into that throttle a little too deep, you're gonna be in trouble. That's 150, and it probably took me maybe 6-7 seconds to get up there from 80 mile an hour. I mean, you're hauling ass on a leader bike, and that can be said for any leader bike, not just the Gixxer. Speaking of the power on the Gixxer, I mean, if you're looking to buy a leader bike to haul ass on the streets, but for a good price, the Gixxer's the way to go. You're gonna have one of two. You're gonna have the Gixxer or the CBR 1000 RR. Those are gonna be your two kind of low priced models for the leader bikes that are gonna be a little bit more friendly on the wallet, but they're still gonna give you the speed and power you need. If you're looking for something a little bit more technical, something a little bit more fancy, you're gonna wanna go with like the BMW S1000 RR or the R1. And then the ZX10 kind of sits in the middle of fancy and base. Preferably, I think rider aids are useless. I mean, it should be based all up to the rider's skill. You shouldn't have those crutches, as all that does is encourage someone to get outside their league. That's just my opinion on the matter. You can correct me in the comments. But personally, ride within your limits. Know your limits. Don't rely on the electronics to save you. Although wheelie control would be pretty nice. I gotta say that. But your lean control, all that stuff, do away with it. You don't need it. Learn your bike, learn how to ride it. Holy God. Jesus, come on, man. And on this time in the reviews, when we travel at a whopping 4 miles an hour, what else can be said about this bike? As far as looks go, I think this bike is gorgeous. I think all of its curves, all of its sweeps, and the headlight especially, I think is just beautiful. But that's more my preference style. That's completely subjective. Some people hate the way the Gixxers look. Personally, I love it. As far as your low to mid-range power is concerned in town, I mean, it's a leader bike. Regardless of how its mid and low power is compared to other bikes in its class, on the street, it's more power than you're ever gonna need. You can get out of any trouble you need, and you can get into as much trouble as you want. It's not really a matter of if it has enough, it's just a matter of how it applies that. The Gixxer does a good job of giving you some low and mid-range grunt, so you're really not too caught up with wondering if you can get out of situations. Good God, people, you people are fucking slow. I gotta say though, as far as riding in town, you get into kind of the more suburban areas. It's okay. It heats up. It's a super sport, so it's gonna get warm on you. It's gonna make your ass toast. It's not as quite as bad as I've heard from the R1, but it still gets pretty warm. It's definitely a bike that wants to go fast. These slow speeds just don't really do it much justice. You're probably gonna get a bit uncomfortable with all the stop and go. If you're looking at buying a new motorcycle and you want something more street friendly, I would look more towards the Super Nakeds. They have a lot more torque, a lot more woof in the low end, and I think that is something more beneficial to slow speed cruising. This bike will throw your ass in its seat without even thinking about it. With those Super Nakeds, there's a little bit more forgiveness on your top end, and your torque curve is a lot more usable here in the suburbs. And they're quite a bit more comfortable. So yeah, that's my summary of the Gixxer 1000 of 2015, and this will apply to 2012 to 2016, I believe. They're all the same model. I'm not sure there's a whole lot different between them. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed this review, there'll be more to come. I'm gonna see what I can get my hands on through the summer, and we'll do all sorts of nifty reviews. Plus, we got racing, we got motovlogs, we got car related stuff. I haven't posted anything yet, but I'm just waiting for the right time. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It does wonders for the channel, and it makes me feel good. And if you want to make me feel good, game. Anyways, until next time.